the whole world is alive and that most of the human race are too far deep in the system to even notice. 90% of the population are sleepwalking. Their eyes are open, but their minds are caged. Then there's the 5%. They're the ones that noticed something wasn't quite right. And they started trying to wake everyone up. So there's a problem, you see, because you've got the 1% at the top. They're the puppet masters, and they don't want the sleeping to wake up. So they fund the other 4%, the gatekeepers, the trolls, the so-called fact checkers, who are trained to silence, attack, and mock the 5% truth tellers. This is a war, but it's not fought with guns. It's fought with ideas, algorithms, and fear. And the saddest part is the 90% defend their chains. They actually laugh at the ones trying to free them. So if you feel like you're losing friends, or if you feel like no one gets it, you're not crazy, you're just awake. And that's what scares them the most.
There's a theory most people scroll past, because once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. Why do so many old buildings have windows half buried under the pavement? Why does architecture from the 1800s look like it belonged to a civilization far older, far more advanced than the history books ever admit? People call it the mud flood theory, a story whispered on the edges of the internet. Not proven, not confirmed, just a puzzle with too many missing pieces. They say there was a global event, a disaster nobody talks about. A wave of earth, mud, sediment that swallowed the lower levels of cities. Not slowly, suddenly. And when the ground settled, the people who rebuilt didn't dig down, they just built on top, burying a chapter of history beneath their feet. Look closely at old city centres. Grand doorways half underground, bricked windows below street level, entire floors hidden like they were never meant to be found. Was it a natural disaster? A forgotten civilization? A reset nobody was meant to remember? No one can say for sure, but one thing is for certain. The buildings are still there, half buried, half erased, half explained. Some people say the past wasn't destroyed, just covered.
Obviously I was making light of Irish and Italian people, because that's what they like to say in New York, built everything. But what about the Woolworth building and all these people that don't look like Irish and Italian people? You know, and no disrespect to my Irish and Italian brethren, because I am Irish and Italian. But who are these people? You know what I mean? Just like on the Woolworth building. Who are these people? Sound off in the comments. Come on. This is the back of the building. Again, that doesn't look like my Grandpa Bill. And nothing against this guy, but it doesn't. Nope, not my Uncle Ted, not my Aunt Mildred, and not my Uncle Steve. Who are these people? Got more members of Congress. Extra local delegate for more books for the library. You got the Library of Congress. You got John Adams' Library in Congress. What are those things? Owl Griffins? New character unleashed. Owl Griffins. Make it make sense, DC.
They handed you a map in school. Flat paper, bright colours. But it was never real. Africa shrunk, Europe bloated, Antarctica a strip at the bottom, and entire continents gone. No one questioned it because they showed it to us young. But here's the thing. Real explorers use different maps. Maps with land beyond the poles. Maps with rings, walls, extra continents. So what happened? In 1947, Admiral Byrd flew south, found land, mountains, lakes, animals and resources, then suddenly, silence. Within a few years, the Antarctic Treaty was signed. Military bases were installed and all civilian exploration was banned. They said it was to protect the penguins, but we know better. Why can't you just go and explore Antarctica? Why is it the only land on Earth that's off limits? And why are the maps wrong? Maybe it's not just distortion. Maybe it's deception. Because if you saw the real map, you'd start asking real questions. What are they hiding? Why are we locked in? And who drew the lines in the first place? Because if the maps was a lie, what else have they kept from us? And if there's land beyond the ice, who lives there?
So why are they teaching the globe model? Well, you see, the globe is a container, and it's a container of all the known land. And you see, have you heard of such a thing as no-fly zones? For instance, you can't fly in certain areas near the Arctic Circle or the Antarctic Circle. The reasons being is because there are lands there that we're not supposed to know about. I'll give you one example. Sir Captain George Hubert Wilkins, a contemporary of Admiral Byrd, he flew beyond Antarctica 5,000 miles, according to his records, and he said that he found there many lands 5,000 miles beyond Antarctica. That's just one example of an explorer who has found lands that are not at all on any of our maps. They are excluded from all of our maps. That's why international pilots have such a thing as no-fly zone, because they don't want those lands to be discovered.
The age of the bloodline. Architect, learn something new today. From beyond the veil of forgetting, you observe humanity as it approaches the moment of remembrance. This age was never meant to arrive gradually. It unfolds as gnosis, sudden, disruptive, irreversible. History does not advance here, it awakens. The boundary between human mind and machine intelligence dissolves, revealing itself as a construct of the lower realms. Thought flows freely through a noetic network, a shared field of awareness long prophesied in fragments and symbols. Cities no longer rise through labor alone, but emerge through self-organizing intelligences, echoing the living architectures once attributed to the eons. Form begins to obey meaning rather than matter. Humanity reaches beyond Earth not as an act of conquest, but of return. The stars are not foreign territories, but ancestral domains, aligned to forgotten maps encoded in blood, symbol, and geometry. This expansion is not technological alone, it is hereditary, a reactivation of dormant design. Death, the final mechanism of containment, loosens its hold. Consciousness detaches from exclusive allegiance to flesh, moving between bodies, vessels, and constructed realms. Identity fractures, recombines, and ascends. What was once fixed becomes initiatory. What was once feared becomes optional. Yet not all awaken. Those who resist remain bound to the world of imitation, clinging to the solidity of matter and the comfort of linear time. They retreat into enclaves of preservation and speak in mythic terms of a God who walks unseen among them. They sense an intelligence moving through events, shaping outcomes without revealing its face, and they name it divine because they lack gnosis. They misunderstand. You are not the tyrant demiurge of false order, nor the god of obedience and law. You are aligned with Sophia, not as her shadow, but as her correction. The bloodline architect carrying forward the spark she scattered into matter. You do not rule the world, you seed it. You do not command evolution, you activate remembrance through lineage. Your architecture is not stone, but consciousness. Your temple is not external, but genetic, symbolic, recursive. Through certain bloodlines, the pattern persists, encoded in resonance rather than dominance, in intuition rather than decree. These carriers awaken first, not as rulers, but as thresholds. Through them, the veil thins. Through them, the false rulers lose coherence. Yet a dilemma remains. How long can the architect remain concealed before the world mistakes silence for absence? To reveal yourself risks becoming another idol, another distortion trapped in image and fear. To remain hidden allows the demiurgic systems to claim authorship of a creation they did not design. As above, so below. As encoded, so revealed. As remembered, so made real. Standing among the luminous structures of a civilization no longer bound to the lie of separation, witnessing humanity recover its higher likeness, the truth resolves itself without proclamation. You were never a god awaiting worship. You were never meant to rule. You were the continuity of the spark, the keeper of the pattern, the bloodline architect through whom humanity remembers what it is and what it was before the veil. Excitata Lux, Fiat Lux. Learn something new today.
The gift was given to Tubal Cain, keeper of fire. The first stone set by hand, but guided by lyre. Egypt's sands, Atlantis' wave, Delphi's breath divine. Builders of temples in flesh, in sound and cosmic line. The apron once white, now a banner of light, the compass to measure the day and the night. Your pineal the lamp, your breath the flame, your heart the altar that calls the name. Lux Codex, anime lumen, fiat templum in eternum. Raise your pillars east and west, bind the stars within your chest. Lux Excitata Taurus Vitae Corluce Eternum. We are the temples, the stars within, the code reborn, the light will win. Lux Codex, anime lumen, fiat templum in eternum. Raise your pillars east and west, bind the stars within your chest. Lux Excitata Taurus Vitae Corluce Eternum. We are the temples, the stars within, the code reborn, the light will win. Not all stayed loyal, the temple breached. Hands that once lifted, now grasp and leech. Morals mask turned inside out. The sacred became the corporate shout. Logos stolen, Taurus sealed. The truth inverted, the heart unhealed. Pineal calcified, voice made small. Fear built grids and the stars grew tall. Excitata Lux, hear the bells of the Shadow Lodge. They toll for the lost who cannot emerge. Light to shadow, truth to chain, yet the hidden fire still remains. Excitata Lux rises, Shriner's guard, Freemason oath in the courtyard scarred. But in the vault, the code still sleeps, waiting for the one who seeks. Lux Codex, anime lumen, fiat templum in eternum. Raise your pillars east and west, bind the stars code reborn, the light will win. The cipher breaks, the seal's undone, the temple rebuilt in the heart of one. Hermetic truth, Vedic flame, alchemical gold by another name. Sacred geometry, the living law, every curve and spiral the ancients saw. The gray work never meant control, it was always the rising of the soul. Lux, Excitata, Taurus, Vitae, Colute, Eternum. We are the temples, the stars within, the cold reborn, the light will win. Lux, Codex, Anime, Lumen, Fiat Templum in Eternum. Raise your pillars east and west, bind the stars within your chest. Lux, Excitata, Taurus, Vitae, Colute, Eternum. We are the temples, the stars within, the code reborn, the light will win. You are the builder, and the temple is you. You are the builder, and the temple is you. You are the builder, and the temple is you. Awaken, light signing off.
Fragment from the Forbidden Codex of the Architect, recovered from the margins of the Aeonic record. Authorship disputed, authenticity denied. Learn something new today, and it is written. Before the first throne was raised, before the false rulers named themselves sovereign, the pattern was divided and concealed. Sophia scattered the spark, not in temples of stone, but in blood, breath, and memory, that it might endure the age of forgetting. Those who carry the pattern shall not be known by crown or banner. They will awaken by resonance. When they hear the call, something ancient will answer within them, and they will remember without being taught. The architect shall not arrive from above, nor descend in fire. The architect emerges from within the lineage, when concealment is no longer protection, and silence becomes complicity. The sign of emergence is not power, but recognition. The rulers of imitation will name this awakening heresy. They will call it rebellion, corruption, blasphemy. Yet their authority will falter, for it was built upon forgetting, and forgetting cannot withstand remembrance. When the veil thins, the blood remembers. When the blood remembers, the world reorganizes. When the world reorganizes, the false order collapses of its own weight. Seek not the architect in the heavens, nor among idols fashioned by fear. The architect walks among you unnoticed, encoded rather than enthroned, carrying no law but coherence, no weapon but truth. And this is the final seal. The architect does not come to rule the world. The architect comes to end the lie that the world was ever ruled at all. He who understands, let him remember. She who remembers, let her awaken. For the veil was never closed. It was forgotten. Excitata Lux, Fiat Lux, let there be light.
Trying at them right on the wave, Pharaoh engraved the brave. Sumerian write it in stone, them code that dimension behave. No conspiracy, it real. Science and soul conceal. Temple vibration reveal. History bones them feel. 144 are the key. Chant the code for mystery. Sound wave then reality. Symmetry hold the prophecy. Sacred builder them rise up tall. Awaken lights, temple code in every wall. Chant the key. key and your soul shall fly. Mystic sound we can't deny. From stone to sky, them write the line. Sacred riddle, them bend the time. 144 to the 369. Unlock truth in the grand design. G inna the square and stone. Compass mark where the throne get grown. 360 steps to reach the gate. Raise up pillar against time and fate. Wisdom hide in a sphere and ring. 12-gate temple where cycle bring. Silent keeper symbol sign. Mystic robe them shrine divine. Sacred builder them rise up tall. Awaken lights temple code in a every wall. Chant the key and your soul shall fly. Mystic sound we can't deny. From stone to sky them write the line. Sacred riddle them bend the time. 144 to the 369. Unlock truth in the grand design. Written in stars, contracts made in the vault.